Welcome back to another episode of Let's Grow Podcast. And today I have my good friend Cameron Pass with Dedicated Mold Specialist. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah.
Very excited, very ecstatic about it and spreading some knowledge on the podcast.
Hey, of course, man. So before we get started a little bit, tell me, who is Cameron Pass? Tell me a little bit about your backstory, where you're from, things like that.
Yeah, the man, the myth, the legend. Y'all get it here. 32 years old, was born in Oklahoma.
Okay.
Born in Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma.
All right.
And then about 2 weeks after that, my mom moved down here. All our family was down here, West Texas, Odessa, Dallas, all of the above. So moved down here after 2 weeks, and I've been here, my whole life. Single child, so, I was kind of spoiled, I guess you could say, more than the most. And my mom just really put in the work, working, up to 2 jobs at one point, overnight, things in that reference. And throughout that, it really taught me how to, stand up for what you believe, stand up for morals, stand up for values, and of course, family.
Yeah.
Over that period of time, I exceeded in school. And then ended up declining in school. I think every teen has those troubles or whatever the case. So me being a only child, dad not in my life, ended up making my own choices, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So graduated school from Garland out here out of a charter school at that point. Okay. And then ended up getting into a trade school for HVAC. And that's what it really broke the ice of, I guess you could say, the whole indoor air quality industry. My grandpa, he told me, you definitely want to find something that's not going to go away. I love Texas, so that's what we went into, was AC and heat and indoor air quality.
That's never going away, especially here in Texas, And I tell a lot of younger students, right, who are still in high school trying to figure things out, even some of my nephews, I'm like, go learn a trade. Learn a trade, right? Because a lot of trades, the newer generation aren't learning. They want to learn tech. They want to learn, all this fancy stuff. But yet, we need people still in these trades and I tell my nephews all the time, like, learn this trade, because by the time you reach a certain age and you built a business with it, dude, you'd be an instant millionaire, because not a lot of people in their generation are learning trades.
Exactly.
So that's awesome, man. So you went into HVAC. So actually, like, as a technician or just learning it?
Yeah, we went to, I ended up graduating from ATI. It was out here, and they had a couple locations in Dallas, but ended up being a national scam. And it was non-accredited, come to find out. So whenever we graduated, took our test, took the state test, you get an EPA certification card, and that's basically just different classes of refrigerant, different commercial, residential, all of the above. What it says on there, certified through ATI. And so, we go to apply these jobs. We're at the bottom of the pit, you understand me? So even for entry level or apprentice positions. So ended up just getting odd jobs here and there throughout my younger 20s, late teens, and really wanted to do HVAC because I had the background. I couldn't let that go. But I ended up meeting somebody, and he ended up working for a air duct cleaning mold remediation company. Okay. And that's where it kind of got into. I said, okay, this is hand in hand. I know the components of the HVAC system front and back. So, if I was to ever exceed in that like I wanted to, then I could go. They're both hand in hand, sister companies. So started to exceed in the company. Started out from a helper, getting picked up in the van, meeting up at the office, things in that reference, and exceeding into a technician, and overall exceeding into a franchise owner.
So tell me a little bit. So you mentioned it as a duct cleaning mold restoration. So that's not usual terms of what you hear. When you hear more of restoration, you hear like mold and water and fire. So what is the kind of
specific
difference?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's more of like a niche almost.
So this was probably 2015, 2014. Once again, that's what they specialize in, was air duct cleaning. As I noticed throughout HVAC systems, I started to see more of the mold problem. Okay. They had already experienced that on some type of sort. This was a small mom and pop company, but they wanted to, exceed in everything. So it's all about, at that point, it was all about, hey, here goes the job, figure it out, basically. So you could say, ins and outs, trial and error, that's how we learned.
Yeah.
When I noticed that, the mold started getting into play, the excessive water damage, when it was exceeding, hey, people need to be licensed or at least educated about these things. We need to take this step. The company and the platform that I was working for did not want to proceed that.
Yeah.
So the integrity levels just didn't match.
Okay.
So throughout that expanding of 5 years, 6 years throughout that trade, that's where I noticed I was like, hey, I got a bug for it. I need to learn more. I need to learn more. And that's where
thirsty for that education.
That's where it took off.
Learn.
That's where it took off, and I was boosted to the ground.
Okay. So duct cleaning is a real thing, right? Because you see so many people on like Facebook groups and stuff. Hey, I need my ducts cleaned, and then people comment, "Oh, those scams. That's not real, and you're wasting your money." So it is actually a real thing.
It is a real thing. It is beneficial. It is efficient. All of the above. At this point, we were probably one of the main companies that were doing duct cleaning at that time, and just built on that reputable company and reputable basis for that trade. As I noticed, yes, you have your HVAC systems, you have your AC companies that don't do the best of jobs, just like other contractors, other companies, whatever the case. And notice that, hey, once we come in there and clean it, you can. It's as simple as seeing before and after.
Yeah.
As long as you have that reputable company, professional company, very genuine, honest, upfront company, then they'll be able to provide those results that you're looking for, and be able to make that name for that industry.
Okay. So started at HVAC Tech, and started with some duct cleaning a little bit more, and now leading to the company, the owner of Dedicated Mold Specialists. So what is it that y'all do?
Yeah, so we strictly focus on indoor air quality. So I took basically everything that I've learned since I graduated high school and put that into a box.
Okay.
Not only into a box, but we expanded into that and made sure that everybody was educated, certified. You don't have to be licensed to do duct cleaning. You do have to be licensed for HVAC, installing systems, mechanical, all of that, all of the above. But we want to make sure we're just not that mom and pop little scam company. We want to separate ourselves from the competition. Yeah. And as you know, there's a lot of competition when it comes to duct cleaning. So, but as well as the mold, I've seen that you can't be an efficient duct cleaning company, indoor air quality company, without doing mold or licensing or education within that mold trade. That's where we stepped in and took advantage of.
Okay, so is it more of, while you're cleaning ducts and stuff, you assess maybe that organic growth around the units itself, or are you doing more of like the restoration, remediation when somebody has a flood or a fire and doing that kind of thing?
Right. So both hand in hand.
Okay.
Due to the fact that we're licensed throughout ICRC as well as TDL law with the mold remediation, we can take care of both.
Okay.
So water restoration, that's basically as simple as it sounds, excessive water, and then restoring those materials that have been damaged by that excessive moisture impact. Mold remediation is specifically fungi, bacterial growth developing on that material. Now with HVAC, we've noticed that there's excessive amount of growth, bacterial growth, mold, and I could say this because the results that I've been in have all been tested, all of the above. This is what we find in these HVAC systems. This is what these people are breathing.
Yeah.
So if you have a duct cleaning company that comes in, or let's just say an HVAC company that services every 2 times a year, they come in there, they service, make sure mechanically everything's doing fine, they're doing their job.
Yeah, definitely.
If they don't, see any mold, if they, there's some dust, dirt, I don't know what it is, because legally you will have to get it tested. Find a professional to get in there, someone who has the credentials, the education, the information to present to that situation, because every home is different. Yeah. Every HVAC is different. They operate the same. They have the same components more than likely, but when it comes to HVAC systems, they have to be clean. They have to be maintenance. They have to be thoroughly restorated, cleanliness-wise, to make sure that the contaminants don't build up to a point of that.
So how long have you been doing this for?
So my company started in 2020. I've been in the industry since 2015.
Okay, nice. So 2020, man, starting it through the pandemic, I guess.
Yeah.
What has been the biggest challenge you've seen as starting a business through the pandemic and able to survive that, right, and now still thrive in the coming years from it?
So I will say in my case, once again, I was in it 2015, running a crew, franchise owner, all of the above. But on a business aspect, 2020, opening up my own LLC, that's where it wasn't as challenging as it could have been before. Because if you remember, the pandemic, everybody was kind of, shocked and everything like that. I was working for my franchise throughout the pandemic. That's when the government shut down. We had to stay at home, all of the above, essential workers. But opening up a business, everybody was doing it. Everybody wanted to do it. They got the PPP loan, so I was able to watch videos, all that stuff, and get a little bit more information. Well, I ended up meeting a customer through my franchise, and the knowledge that he had and just where he was at in life, I was very intrigued about. Wow. And we sat down. He was like, yeah, whatever you need, just call me. I called him, went over to his house, sat down for like 5 hours just talking.
Wow.
And I was like, all right, and he told me, he was like, if you want to start your own business, you're going to have to do it sooner or later if you're in this position with this company, with this franchise, in this agreement, whatever. But you're going to have to start over one way or another.
Yeah.
That's it. Throughout the pandemic, yes, it was the hardest thing starting all over, but I had a jump start compared to those companies that were starting fresh out, didn't know where to go.
Yeah.
You understand? So it was a little easier based on structure-wise, but that's one thing. I have been in the field. I've been running crews. Yeah. As a business owner, it's completely different. That was my biggest challenge.
Yeah.
That was my biggest
Why is it different? Is it because you wear all the hats as starting out, or is it just more of the education that, because you wear so many hats in a business, of knowing where to leverage or what aspect to focus on? Like, what is the bigger challenge of that?
The biggest challenge would be is I can say this with, honestly, I can say this with a lot of people, not just myself, is the confidence. Consistency, confidence. Yeah. It's not only the information. There's so much information out there, you don't know what to choose. You just need to find the right source of information that's genuine, the right source of person, whatever it may be. But dude, the confidence and the consistency. There's been plenty of times where my business has just, my franchise, my business looks like it's just at zero, don't know where to go. And it's the consistency. I never stopped. We don't stop. And I think that's the difference between the businesses that,
shop within just a few years.
You see what I mean? That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I mean, definitely with confidence and consistency, right? We have to work on those as business owners almost every day, right? Because it is, it's not what everybody thinks of, right? When you're running a business or starting a business, everybody thinks you're going to work less. You're going to, make more.
I had a whole different picture at one time.
But that's the what people think, right? People think, I'm going to go start my own business because it frees up my time.
Yeah.
But in reality, where the successful business owners like yourself know that you actually work more starting your own business. Right, you work later nights, you work those weekends.
Most definitely.
Until you establish yourself 5-10 years where you've grown so much that other people now run it for you and things. But starting off as self-employed and running your own business, it's harder.
Yes.
And you have to have a positive mindset to continue, so that way you don't get depressed on yourself. You don't, get into this down whirl spin.
Oh yeah.
And let it eat at you where you're like, I give up. I'm not doing it anymore, right? So how do you maintain that confidence? How do you build that confidence as a business owner? What are you doing on a daily basis to keep that going?
Personal development.
Okay.
As far as it goes, counseling, personal development. Someone like me, like I said, single mother, single child, making my own decisions throughout life. To look back. I think that's the biggest thing, is to don't forget where you come from.
Yeah.
There's the owner of my franchise at that point, the stockholders and all of the above. That's what they kept telling me, is just stay humble. Of course, they probably had different intentions at that point, but that's one thing that just stuck with me, is stay humble and don't forget where you come from. I have 3 kids. I'm 32 years old. My oldest child is 12 years old. My youngest child is 6 years old. My mother's in my life. She works. She provides as much as she can. My wife and then her mother just passed in 2021.
Oh man, sorry to hear that.
So we're by ourselves out here.
Yeah.
We don't have nobody to call. We don't have nobody to help. So that's where it's my job to step up. This role that I've been given as this business owner, as a father, as a husband, I can't stop on that. I can't sleep on that. That is something that I have to continue to work on every single day. It's the most important thing in my life.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what's going to push me to become a better businessman. It's not even about the business, but a person that I know God wants me to be. Yeah. That's going to be the biggest thing.
It's huge because so many people don't focus on personal development, right? They're always business. And then that's where the burnout comes because they didn't focus on their own personal self, right? Mm-hmm. If you don't focus on yourself, how can you be better for other people, right? How can you be better for your wife, your kids, your clients, your customers?
Exactly.
And sometimes it takes counseling. It takes books. It takes podcasts. It takes everything in between to help that, because as a business owner, sometimes we don't have anybody else, right? We're either learning on our own, we can surround ourselves with certain people, but at that time, they're also handling their own business, right? We have mentors, we have coaches, but at the end of the day, it comes down to ourselves. And if we don't take care of ourselves through our mindset, through our bodies, we won't be able to survive. So, I love how you're able to share that with the audience and let them know that personal development is probably one of the most top attributes of what you have to do to be successful.
It definitely it is. It is, from the mental state point, because we all go through things, and it's 2023.
It's life.
Y'all see how this world's going. So, you can, like I said, put your bootstraps on, or you can literally go into the bedroom and curl up.
Yeah. And, and starting a business isn't for everybody. We could easily go work for another company or a corporation, right, and put in the 9 to 5, but we do it for different reasons.
Exactly.
Right, for being business owners. Some of us want to leave a legacy. Some of us want to show our kids or families that, hey, coming from a single household, right, coming as a single child, we have to work a little bit harder, but guess what? Anything's possible if you put your mindset to it and do it and do the work and be okay with the outside noise bringing you down or whoever that is.
Oh, yeah.
There's different reasons why we start businesses, because like I said, it could be easier. We could say, hey, screw it. Let's throw in the towel and let's go work a 9 to 5 and we'll be okay. But what keeps you going as a business owner, right? And why did you want to start your own business versus continuing to work for a franchise owner or a different corporation or things like that?
Yeah, so I always wanted to, be the suit and tie and have an office job and just be, real complacent.
Yeah.
And that is not too bad even till this day. But the positions, the experiences, and the situations that have been put in front of me throughout my life, it's not going to be to a point to where I can just work 6 days, 5 days, and come home and everything's okay. It's not that I need more. I have to provide more. So my mom, she single parent. She's been taking care of business. Her father, he did real estate, owned companies, all of the above. My uncle, he owned probably about 50-something Whataburgers and, just businesses. It's been running in the family. I can say my mom was the black sheep of the family. So I think I have a point to prove when it comes to my family. Not only that, to the world.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in my position, there's a lot of people that used to be in my position and I see it all the time, from friends to kids to all of the above. My son, he just started middle school. I see it within his peers as well. They think that the world's out to get them. They think that the world owes them something. And that's why I say, the mental state, the personal development, you have to get out of that. You have to. So when I sit here and say, hey, I've been, I deserve this. I've been putting in work. This is just small pieces to the pie that I'm trying to build.
Yeah.
Small pieces. I can't be that person to work. And I'm not saying take orders. I've had plenty of jobs. Bus boys, janitorial. I've had plenty of odd jobs.
Yeah.
It's just not the presentation that I'm trying to present for my kids. Anything's possible, especially with this generation right now. These kids are so intelligent. The things that they're teaching at just a young age, they have to know that there's more than just, and you said something about the tech. You don't have to just have a construction job, but it is what's going to keep the world pushing. You can't. The tech is great. We can definitely provide and push forward in that. But this is what's going to keep the kids pushing. If I can make a presentation and an image to present to my kids, to my family, to my peers, that where I came from, I can do it. The challenges, the trials, the tribulations, I can do it. You see it on a daily basis. I'm not perfect. My kids see the struggle. My kids came up with the name for the company. My kids are in tune within this company. They see the struggles. They see the customers. They see the late night phone calls, the getting them out of bed, all of the above.
Yeah.
I want you to remember this, so whenever you get to this point where you have to get out here into this real world, it's not easy, but it can be done.
Yeah, and it's like what you said, right? It starts with you realizing what environment you're in, and you have to take yourself out of that. That's the first step, right? And a lot of times our history and our background from where we came up, right, we look at it and it's like, what would have happened if I didn't take myself out, if I didn't want more, if I didn't want to be better, right? Because there's so many people who are complacent as they grow up, and they're like, this is just what life is, this is what my family done before, whatever that looks like,
fine,
right?
But it's not enough.
And it is, but I think sometimes they don't have the people to tell them, like, you can change the trajectory of your life, right?
Yes.
No matter what the past is bringing. And so, I love the way you put that. Now, what do you have planned for 2024? What's gonna happen with Dedicated Mo Specialists as a company? Like, what are your goals? What are you shooting for in 2024?
It's crazy because, I think me and my business partner we talk about it all the time. Of course, we want to be further than where we're at. We can't believe where we came from. We're doing good. We're in the green, all of the above. 2024 is going to be the year where we start initiating that. We have been preparing up until this point. I feel like this is the next level. This is the level that we've been waiting on.
Yeah.
We've been implementing a couple different campaign strategies, programs, whatever you want to call it. Just different avenues of reaching out to that network, reaching out to the public, reaching out to those consumers that are just thirsty for information or just don't know what to do, and making our brand, our company available to those people. That's what we're going to be implementing in 2024.
Nice.
Getting out to the community, getting out to the public, God willing, more of these.
Yeah.
And making sure that everybody is informed about how to present a situation and how to go about it when it comes to mold remediation or indoor air quality.
Yeah.
There's so many questions out there. There's so many what to do.
A lot of people are uneducated about it, right?
Yeah, there's plenty of organizations that's trying to start their own thing, which is great. There's so much information. It's 2023. This is the time of information. But the main thing is we're here to let you know the real. Yeah. We're here to let you know what works. We're here to let you know what doesn't. What's the best way to go about it? Hey, our solution may not be the only solution, but guaranteed it's going to go right there with the best of them.
Yeah.
That's what we're providing.
Yeah. So you mentioned business partner, right? It's you and a business partner.
Yeah.
How do y'all make that relationship work, right? Because sometimes partnerships have to act like a marriage almost, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
sometimes
yeah,
they don't work out, right? So what have you learned of being in business with a partner? Because sometimes partnerships are two sides of the spectrum where you have one way you want to do it, they have one way to do it, but yet y'all can come to a common ground and make it work. So what do you think has been the biggest challenge in a partnership, and how have you made it work?
Like I said, this whole business thing for me this past 3, coming up on 4 years, have been absolutely a crazy transition. Patience. I think I can speak for him just as much as I can for me. Patience, and then the drive to want more. I mean, he's very genuine. Like I said, it was a previous customer of mine that I ended up going in business with. I think we built up that relationship before. And they say don't go in business with your friends. I wouldn't really call him a friend before we got into business. It was more of an acquaintance, more of a leader, coach, I guess you would say, just someone that I looked up to, that I was reaching out for advice. He was very patient with me. He didn't let me know, hey, we need to do this now, anything like that. So I think the way that the way that he opened the door was very genuine, like. And I think that's what started this and what blossomed into a company. I wasn't sure if it was going to be the right move. I just knew I wanted to start my own company. That's it. His values aligned with mine. his morals and characteristics aligned with mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where it started and blossomed into a businessship. Now, the partnership on the business part, I can't, like some would say, we're like fire and ice.
Mm-hmm.
Completely different. But when it comes to reality, I think we're both. He comes from Chicago. I come from down south. That's already different. So
yeah.
He's a little faster than I am, speaks faster than I do. So I catch on. It's more of like I get to get stuff from him.
Yeah,
and he gets to get stuff from me.
You absorb information and knowledge in two different ways from each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what you're trying to say is you're both humbled by it versus saying, no, that's the wrong way.
There you go.
You take it and you're like, okay, cool, let's run with it. Versus y'all clashing and saying, no, that's not the way to do it. It's like, some stuff of expertise, he knows some. And
there you go.
It's a great blend.
There you go.
Of being that fire and ice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And y'all are okay letting your egos down and saying, okay, cool, I'll trust you because our values and morals line up, and I'll trust you on what you're saying. Let's run with it.
So
right?
That's one aspect right there, how it is. And then he's an accountant. So it's all numbers. That's a whole other aspect. So when he's breaking down numbers and stuff, and I'm like, but we're doing this, we got this, this is, $20K, whatever. He's like, but look at the numbers. So
Always
once again, the business part of it, he opens my mind up to a lot of different perspectives and how to address different type of risk management, customers, all of the above.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
We definitely feed off of each other, and that's the best. It's consistently every day.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have you back, man. I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but how can everybody get a hold of y'all, right? If they have questions about their indoor air quality, or they start seeing some organic growth growing somewhere, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, definitely. So they can reach out Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're on all the major platforms. And then, of course, you can go to www.dedicatedmold.com. Check out our website. And, of course, email service@dedicatedmold.com. And, yes, we're local out here in Garland. We service all of DFW. We'll go out to Houston, Austin, whatever the case. We just want to help and educate as much as we can and make sure that we provide the best information on the project.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for coming by again.
Yes,
we appreciate it. We'll have you back. There you go, everybody. If you have questions on your indoor air quality or see some organic growth, give Cameron a call.
Definitely.
Thanks.
Thank you.